7 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful. Perfect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to deviate from our agenda like we normally do to do the Natural Bridge ambulance vote, as we have the court stenographer here. So we'll review what I put together here for the CON. Can you guys see it up there?
Yes.
Did they say yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the committee, myself, James Barr, Robert McKenzie, and Ronald Smith. So we're going to review a conflict of interest like what we've done for the other ones. A member has a conflict that would require abstaining if she had a precautionary interest in a competing service, i.e. had an ownership interest in a competing service, or if he or she serves as an officer of an ambulance service in direct competition with the applicant. Those are the only reasons for abstaining. Voting on CON issues is a public officer's duty. So public need is defined by 0606, the demonstrated absence, reduced availability, or an inadequate level of care in ambulance or emergency medical service available to a geographic area which is not readily correctable through the reallocation or improvement of existing resources. Whose phone is ringing?
I think it's August.
Variables in considering public need: geography, population, which includes size, density, projections, level of care, existing and what's available, quality, reliability, and response patterns of existing services, type of service, emergency or non-emergency, special need, i.e. air, industrial facility, service effectiveness, costs and operation, and other local factors. Competitive injury. A competitive injury refers to economic harm a business suffers due to unfair competition from a rival company, often arising from practices like dishonest advertising, price discrimination, or other tactics that give the competitor an unfair advantage, resulting in lost customers or profits for the injured business. Essentially, it's a disruption in the competitive process within a market due to another company's actions. So tonight's comments opportunity shall be provided for REMSCO members present to make inquiry and ask questions prior to making a determination. As the application and the public hearings constitute the appropriate forum to introduce, provide new information, this is not an opportunity for REMSCO members or non-REMSCO members to introduce or provide any new information. So the timeline, boy, can you make that?
I can't make it bigger, but I
Okay.
can see it to read it if you would like.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the original application was received on 9/15/25, deemed complete 9/23/20. Incomplete, sorry, apparently I can't read it either. Deemed incomplete on 9/23/25. 12/1/25, the application was received again and distributed to the CON committee and chair. On 12/9/26, it was deemed complete. 1/7/26, the public hearing was held. 1/16/26, the fitness and competencies were received from the state. 1/21/26, the application was withdrawn. 1/26/26, the application amended and resubmitted. 1/31/26, application was distributed to the CON committee and chair. 2/3/26, the revised application was deemed complete. 2/6/26, notice of public hearing was sent out. 3/2/26, the public hearing was held. And 4/6/26, the REMSCO meeting and vote on the CON.
So the motion, the CON Committee of the North Country Regional Emergency Medical Services Council brings forth a seconded motion to approve Natural Bridge Volunteer Ambulance Inc. application for an expansion of territory. Quote, the expanded areas within St. Lawrence and Lewis counties to include town of Diana in Lewis County, including the village and hamlet of Harrisville and the town of Pitcairn in St. Lawrence County. Anything after that? Okay, discussion from the floor. Anybody that wants to speak, please say and spell your name for the court stenographer. This time I'll open it up for any discussion from the floor. Any discussion from the floor? And last time, any discussion from the floor? Hearing none, I'm going to ask Amanda to do a roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. First of all, I need to know if anybody feels they have a conflict of interest in voting on this. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Any conflict of interest?
I'm gonna declare conflict of interest. Guilfoyle Ambulance as a CON for part of the area they're asking for, so I'll be abstaining.
Here we go. One conflict. That is Bruce Wright. Any other conflicts? Any other conflicts? Hearing none, I'll ask Amanda to do a roll call vote, please. Oh, you're gonna do it? Okay.
That's what you.
Amanda, you changed your voice.
Paul Barter,
Yes.
Mark Devers,
Yes.
Kenneth Gardner,
Yes.
Larry Gerard,
Yes.
Brenton LeGros,
Yes.
Robert McKenzie,
Yes.
James McGrath,
Yes.
Richard Russo,
Yes.
Bobby Simpson,
Yes.
Debbie Singleton,
Yes.
Ronald Smith,
Yes.
Doug Wildermuth,
Yes.
Bruce Wright,
Abstain.
that is 11 yeses.
There was. Okay, maybe there was, I guess we didn't go all the way to the end of my thing that said how many we had to have to vote. Affirmative votes are needed to pass and we had the 11.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is probably the last slide now. There you go. Okay. It took the poor lady longer to set up the stuff than it did for the meeting. If you want to leave me an email, I'd be glad to forward you that PowerPoint if you would like it.
Okay, so we're off the record with that. I just might need the names of the people on there. I got,
write them for you.
okay, I got everybody's name here, but just, who was on there. You wanna do that for me? You can either email it or whatever is easier for you. Okay, that's all you need me for?
That's all we need you for.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
And it
Okay.
appears your camera died.
We have to have a camera.
There we go.
Who knows who can?
We can see you now.
What's my
Okay.
flash?
We're really here.
Okay.
Kind of technology.
All right, so we'll go back to our meeting. I'm looking for any changes, additions, subtractions to the October 6th minutes. I'm sure everybody remembers it like it was yesterday.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
We have a motion from Bobby Simpson to accept the minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Bob McKenzie.
Ooh, yes.
Are there any, rather than, I'm not gonna be able to say everybody in favor, any opposed at our satellite? Any opposed to the approval of the minutes? Everybody here, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions, perfect. Okay. Treasurer's report.
Everyone should have a copy. Any questions?
So, we are paid through our contract through, June of last year. I had to do some more paperwork to get us approval for this year. This CE 200 form that says that we don't have any employees that they make us continue to do. So that's been done. So the first quarter of 25 has been submitted, so hopefully those funds, they've been rolling in a pretty good clip, so hopefully that will be taken care of. If there are no questions on the treasurer's report, can I have a motion to accept?
Oh, sorry.
Do we have a second? Okay.
Mark.
All right. Correspondence. Enforcement list. So we have to go all the way back to October from when our last meeting was, so 10/8/25, case number 2025-0132, Rafael Funes Rodriguez from Troy, New York. 800.15A3, comply with state protocols. 800.16A2, has been negligent in the performance of his or her EMS duties and practice. And 800.16A3, has been incompetent in his duties. Surrendered effective 10/8/25. Second one, 11/4/25, 2025-0368, Henry Loriano from Brooklyn. 800.15A3, comply with state protocols. 800.16A1, has failed to comply with requirements. Surrendered effective 10/24/25. Third one, 11/21/25, 2022-0119, Anthony DeLucia from Saginaw, Michigan. 800.3 AM negligence, 800.3 AL incompetence, 800.15A2 state approved curriculum. Revoked effective 11/19/25, assessed a $8,000 civil penalty. 1/8/26, 2023-0136, Roswell Sano from Buffalo. 800.15B1, accurately completing a PCR. Surrendered for 1 year, effective 1/8/26, civil penalty of $2,000. 1/16/26, thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
2024-0083, Raheem Austin from Lynbrook. 800.3 AM negligent, 800.3 AP1 physical abuse. Revoked effective 1/16/26, civil penalty of $2,000. Got 2/12/26, 2022-0268, Scott Sterling from Prospect, New York. Violations of previously issued stipulation and order, surrendered for 1 year, effective 2/12/26. 2/20/26, 2025-0486, John Gomes, LaGrangeville, New York. 800.3 AM negligent, surrendered effective 2/17/26. That is it for the enforcement. Does anybody else have any correspondence? I'm gonna pass around here so people can see it. Dr. Delaney received a Lifetime Achievement Award last Thursday from Smerit Medical Center. And Jonathan and myself and Paul, we went to it. It was very nice. And anybody that knows Sarah knows she does not like to talk and to do that. So it was very difficult for her to get up there and speak at the end, but she did a very good job. So gotta pass that around so people can see that. Any other correspondence? Hearing none, moving on. Air Methods or Mercy Flight? I know Matt's on vacation. He's down south. Do we have anybody from Air Methods with us?
Negative.
Okay. Auditing from the executive committee, everything is good. We continue to review this every month to make sure all the checks are accounted for. We're doing a reconciliation every month. Everything is reconciling without any issues. Along those lines, if you have T&Es to turn in from the CON, please get them turned in the next few days. I'd like to finish up the CON for Natural Bridge, and if they have money that needs to be refunded, I'd like to get it refunded to them. I guess we did have some communications. We got a Chapter 11 bankruptcy from North Star Health Alliance. They owe us $200 and some, saying that we're one of their creditors and that we can't collect right now. So we did get that. Nothing under bylaw. We did the CON vote, but I have to tell you, we have another CON for a transfer of ownership. Got it.
Yeah.
So,
St. Lawrence Health Systems to Governor Rescue.
so.
James looks surprised.
Because it's not his. Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. I knew.
So we'll have to, I'll have to get that out to the committee to take a look at. Fort Drum, is Justina with us?
No, she's not.
Okay. Nothing on Gen Z. Chris, legislation. Gonna be a short meeting.
All right, so the law, the governor signed the law, the legislature voted out the chapter 93, they amended the county has to do a comprehensive county emergency medical services plan. We started this kind of knowing that it was going to get extended. So far, I've met with about half of the agencies in Jefferson County. We'll continue to meet with the other half, and then from there, I guess the question I have is that it says that the REMSCO has to be a part of this, but it doesn't say what part. So I don't know if anybody has opinion, and again, you got several counties though that you have to work with. What part is the REMSCO going to have in this?
So I believe the REMSCO's involvement, and Curtis is on, so maybe from the state, so he might know maybe a little bit more. But I believe the REMSCO's involvement is gonna be just that regional oversight of making sure that the plans gel together well, and just like if you're in St. Lawrence County, the plan isn't completely different and opposed to what the plan is for Jefferson County, and that there is that interoperability between.
So the Bureau, the division is supposed to be coming up with a template. We believe last talking with Ryan that it's not going to be all that different from what the legislative committee put together. He did indicate that there might be some minor changes, but we kind of have an outline that most of us have been going off from. And I'll jump in. I talked with Paul, I talked with Steve from Public Health, and I talked with several members of the county legislature, and all verbal I kind of shared with them what we were doing, and every one of them is, I'll say, giving me the verbal blessing to go ahead and do it. I have nothing in writing, but it's all been verbal, go ahead and do this thing. So I developed some questions and have been meeting, as I said, met with a whole bunch of agencies, getting input, asking them about EMS, and so far I've had some pretty good suggestions, and starting to boil all that together. And then the next step is meeting with we have to meet with every mayor and town board and village board, or at least invite them. And the plan that I talked with everybody about was do this by zone. We would have a zone 1 meeting in Jefferson County, invite all the town, village, whatever departments, anybody that wants to come, and kind of do that around. Once that's all done, the plan was probably Paul or Steve, and then it's going to go to the legislature. This plan is going to be done by us, but the legislature is certainly going to have a hand in the final product. So between what we all come up with and what the legislature submits may change. And I don't know where the REMSCO is fitting into this whole thing, or what they want to fit into this whole thing. Or do we just, when I get everything done, do I send it to the REMSCO? Is there people here that want to look at it? Do we compare that to the state plan before it goes to legislature?
Well, we've had one meeting between the three counties. We kind of stopped because we weren't sure where that was at.
Yep.
So maybe we should schedule another meeting and get the three counties together and discuss it. That's what I mean, I know Bob's a little bit further ahead than others because he was able to use his work that was done by their consultant group. Has St. Lawrence County done anything on it yet?
I've been doing some, I pulled, the stuff from, that Chris had in the boardable. And I got back probably 8 or 10, about 8, I guess it was, agencies back with the questions. And I reached out to each one of them, told them, I sent them the questions, send me back and then do the follow-up care or follow-up questions with that. So kind of about the same.
So maybe we'll schedule
like
after
Lawrence.
spring fling, maybe, end of April, beginning of May. Do we have three counties, REMSCO and Jonathan, do you want to sit down again?
I don't know. That's the problem is the template is gonna come out from division.
Right.
We don't know when that's going to happen, so it's really
A
hard
week
for,
before it's due.
it's hard for us to come up with an outline, knowing that we don't have any, and then if they come and it changes, everybody's gonna have to be changing it again. That's why everybody's kind of, we're working, but we're working very slowly on purpose. And when we knew this was gonna change, I kind of slowed down, because my original plans would be done with the agencies by January. And I figured February, March, try to do the county, the towns, villages, but we have to really slow down, because I have no idea. And after we had a meeting with Ryan, it's like, we know it's gonna get changed. But he indicated it was gonna be minor changes, so I'm not terribly worried about that, but I really honestly don't know what that's gonna look like, so.
Yeah, and I was kind of going with the pretense of the agency discussions, at least get the bulk of that out of the way. And then if there's 1 or 2 follow-up questions, we can do those 1 or 2. And then maybe more of the input for the towns and the villages is maybe what we can really look at and guide with that, once we get that template in place.
So the next state meetings are in
May.
May, so maybe by May we'll have something official. I guess. Okay,
Well,
so I
then,
guess we'll keep working, and then I think maybe when we get all the agencies together, I don't mind sharing that. I think that's a good idea to share between everybody what all the agencies have said, and I've told all nothing's gonna come back that Town of Watertown said this, and it should all be very generic. And that's what I'm trying to do, is take all the names out of it, doesn't matter who said it. This is what, kind of the context of what everybody is talking about, and suggestions and what they would like to see or whatever. But I think that's valuable information. I might having that all here, and folks can kind of look at it. Maybe that sparks some more questions that we can go back and ask.
so we'll see if anything comes out of state councils. Does that sound like a game plan?
Works for me.
Curtis, do you have anything you want to add to it? That you know of, at least?
He's listening to Lincoln Park. He's not paying attention to us.
He's playing a video game. Other than that, it really doesn't apply here, but I'll let you know, I went down to EMS Day on the Hill, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. NAEMT is really pressing certain things just real quick. We're looking for Medicare reimbursement for EMS treatment place. We hammered that pretty hard. I got lied to a lot. Everybody thinks it's a great idea. Everybody sees the value, the cost savings, the better patient care. But yet it still sits. The second thing we really pushed really hard was the mobile integrated health. Again, everybody thinks it's a wonderful idea. It treats people very well. We have good medical oversight. It saved tons of money, yet, we have no co-sponsor of that in the Senate. As of now, I understand we may have one. They're trying to fund the Siren Grant, which I think St. Lawrence County, may qualify for. I don't think anybody here does. Last year, they had asked for 32 million. The Senate knocked it down to 13. We're asking for another 31 or 32 million, for the Siren Grant for rural EMS. Another thing that the, National Association of EMS Physicians and NEMT is, they've got a couple things. The National Physicians is, I think, helping us with wall time. They're seeing nationwide. I think locally, we're not seeing a lot, but nationwide, that still continues to be a problem. EMS physicians have partnered, with NAMC to kind of call that out. Medications and blood products, they're finding that a lot of the medications are really, really cheap to make. Like epinephrine, there's a list of like 12 meds that they don't really make any money on, so what they're proposing is. So what NAMC and the emergency physicians want to see is the federal government committing to buying X number of this drug, so it's always available, because there just is no money in some of these drugs, so they're seeing some shortages. You're talking about EMS medical directors, EMS clinicians, workforce, and blood is a big, between both organizations. They've got separate bills, but they kind of say the same thing. Blood is very expensive, even at the ALS2, you're still not even gonna pay for the blood that you administer. So they're looking essentially for a line item. If you administer blood, that blood is reimbursed in addition to the ALS2 charge. Couple other things, we've been a couple of years counting all the EMS practitioners. It really has to do with fire and EMS. A lot of the folks are wearing 2 hats, but they're only counted once. Critical challenges are looking for education, reimbursement, supporting the EMS workforce, and they're trying to get Congress to allocate some land on the National Mall to put up an EMS memorial. You know, there's no national EMS memorial on the mall, so that's at the federal level as well. So I think that's it.
Any questions? Hearing none, we'll move on. Nominating committee, Doug.
Well, it's that time of year, according to our bylaws, where we have to go ahead and elect a vice president and a treasurer. After canvassing via email, everybody, we had 2 people that threw their hat in for vice chair and 1 person for treasurer. Do you care which one we do first?
No,
Okay. The 2 people that were nominated that put their hats in for vice chair are James McGrath and Mark Devers. And gonna open up the floor to anybody else that wants to go ahead and put in for the vice chair. One more time. Hearing none, those are our 2 nominations. Not having an election before, this should be pretty interesting, especially via over the.
Didn't think it through.
Via the owl. What kind of
so
meetings do you have?
Jonathan created this QR code. So everybody can scan. If you don't want to scan, we have a piece of paper for you to put down who you want to vote for. This is anonymous.
God forbid. Our hands for
We can't see it if it's so. Yeah.
It's like nothing on your screen. And it doesn't work either.
Yeah, I don't have a Microsoft account, so I'll take that paper.
Yeah, fine. So it didn't work.
Well, that's not good.
Stand by.
Can you email?
Hold on, give us 1 second here.
Do you want to?
Hold on 1 sec.
I fixed it. Maybe.
Try again. They couldn't see it.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
There we go.
Let's do that little one.
Yes. That's what it is. Oh, that worked when I blew it up.
Or if you make it really big, it wouldn't read.
Yep.
Yep.
It wasn't screen sharing.
Really?
Yeah, I can't get it to.
You could do it the old fashioned way.
You have to zoom into the QR code. Got an extra phone if you need one.
So do I.
It shows you live.
Shows you can vote more than once as well.
Oh, well, it shouldn't let you do that either. Why? Your phone.
I'll grab another phone.
I'm 17 votes for.
How about we end up with 15 votes?
I watched the numbers go down.
Maybe I can get it down.
That's great.
Your phone,
Okay, go.
you got it?
It's not really me voting, just so you know.
That's okay, it doesn't collect the name anyways.
No, but I wouldn't do that anyway.
Oh, thank
See
you.
what total number?
Just because of, oh, does it have a number?
No, it's up to.
Oh, 11.
Doug has to figure it out. Neck and neck. So give it roughly, please.
I had to put Ron in.
That, how many people?
You get a typo.
Like 12 total? Oh. That will work then?
All right, has everybody in St. Lawrence County voted? Oh, never mind, everybody's voted.
Sorry, Mark.
No.
Mark, you're stuck.
Art, do you accept the position of vice chair again?
If you don't, it made this whole process pointless.
Sure. All right, he's
Said
accepted.
Okay. Back to you, Doug.
All right, we had one nomination for Bobby Simpson for treasurer. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Asking again?
I love how everyone jumps.
Yeah. All right, seeing no other nominations, I'm gonna suggest that the secretary cast one ballot.
I think we need a motion.
Oh, that's right, we need a motion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ballot,
right.
right?
No, you don't need a motion. There's nobody else.
There's no
Don't
secretary
we
here.
need a motion for the secretary to cast the ballot?
Ballots in action.
It needs to be phrased like that, but there is no secretary here tonight, so it needs to be the chair.
Oh,
The
so I
chair,
make a motion that the chair cast the ballot, that Bobby Simpson be the treasurer of the REMSCO.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Boo Boo.
Sorry.
Stuck for another year, Bobby.
Yeah, we'll see.
Which one?
Performance measurements, Chris.
We have not met since quite some time. We need to get back doing this. To my knowledge, even some of the stuff that we've done has not been implemented at the 911 center. So put together a quickie training program for the dispatchers so that they understood a little bit better the different levels of care. And every time we asked, they have not even, I think it was like less than 8 minutes or 7 minutes. It was small, short. That hasn't even been seen. So I don't know what is going on. Deb and I did Vital Signs. They did a pre-conference on performance measures. There were 3 physicians and talked about different ways of gathering data. There continues to be a lot of information out there. We have that shared drive that just has a ton of information about how to measure performance measures. It should not be just about how quickly does the ambulance get out of the barn. There's so much other that goes into it, but for some reason in north of the thruway or whatever, it still continues to be that we're all measured against how many minutes it takes us to haul en route. And there's got to be some other, there's got to be a drive to change that narrative. There's so many other things that need to be taken into consideration. Was that Bobby, myself, Debbie, Neil, Michael? Is that the 5? Let me guess the 5. So looking for, I think, some help. And even if we identify some of this stuff, if nobody's willing to put it into practice or improve anything or change anything, are we just spinning our wheels and just saying we'd like to get better, but no feasible way of making it happen? And so.
Bob McKenzie, peer.
The peer committee met. I was on vacation. I understand they made some decisions. I'll have to defer to whoever was on the committee that day.
I have the list in there. Did you like me to look at these?
Just a second, we'll get the list, the plaques have all come in, so we're all set. So, I know some of them, but I don't remember.
I don't remember all of them, so.
That's right. So the educator of the year is Storm Seeley. ALS provider of the year is Patrick O'Connell. BLS provider of the year is Heather Lipinski. Agency of the year is Evans Mills Volunteer Ambulance Service. RN is Dave Leindecker. Doctor is Dr. Ryan Coates. The Rich Beebe Education Award is being given to Jim Devers. And there's a new category, EMS Clinical Partner of Excellence, and that's being given to Brittany Bickle. And they've all been invited to the dinner. Huh? I wanted that to be a surprise. They've all been invited to the dinner, and I think you heard from, did you hear back from Ryan? He was one of the ones you hit.
He was supposed to call me today or something.
Okay, but everybody else was gonna be in attendance, so. Program agency. All right.
Okay. So we received new pads from, an update from Sylvie Steele and Governor, and then new ones for Camp Mandeville, or Ville and Winthrop, and all of the Thrive locations throughout, Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties have updated their, and submitted new pad information, with their name change from their prior iteration. They had to do that.
And they will be submitting new ones soon, because they're buying all of the same AEDs next year.
And no usages. So BLS adjuncts, so these were approved by the REMAC at their last meeting. So BLS adjuvant for Parishville, Evans Mills, Tri-Town Rescue, and Carthage Area Rescue Squad. As well as BLS iGel for Beaver Falls. So the way that the iGel program is working is the REMAC has to approve the training that they're doing. So it goes, they apply through a portal. The portal then kicks it back to our office asking for the REMAC letter saying that they can do it. And that we approve their training. So they have to submit their training to us. Dr. Delaney reviews it. And makes her recommendation either direction. Regional notifications. So Parishville is now going to be carrying nitrous. CQI initiative.
So in January, we reviewed 100 charts, 50 North Country, 50 Mountain Lakes. One agency had no charts uploaded that was in Mountain Lakes. One chart was sent to medical director that was also in Mountain Lakes. February, there were 95 charts, 45 North Country, 50 Mountain Lakes. There were two with no agencies, two agencies with no charts, Ellenberg Depot and Wesley Island. They just didn't respond to any calls. That's their reasoning for not having. March, there were 103 charts. I think that says 33 North Country and 70 Mountain Lakes. One agency with no charts from Mountain Lakes, and then 4 charts were sent to medical directors, 1 from the North Country, 3 from Mountain Lakes. Yeah, it was not so great this last 3 months.
But you'll notice that complete assessments is far better than the North Country if you put the math together.
It's actually getting better over here. I've noticed it less and less. There's assessments more frequently.
Good.
So CQI initiative mapping issues. So still in EMS charts, we're seeing the critical care level mapped to the CFR level of care. So obviously when we pull charts and see that, we get a little scared because we have critical cares who are, or CFRs that are listed to be operating well above their scope of practice. And that is actually an issue with the vendor. And then during March, ESO had a system error that resulted in their entire system going offline for probably 12 hours. It's since been fixed and everything is uploaded that was supposed to during that time period.
So EMS charts is going away.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Brian went to the EMS chart summit in Albany 2 weeks ago. And within the next year, we have to convert over to,
Zoll Rescue.
EMS total or something like that, it's something,
so, but they're saying a lot of their issues, their system was never designed to pull all the NEMSIS data that is now required. So they're gonna require everybody to swap over.
he said right now they're both operating identically, so when you do a chart in EMS charts, it still carries over to the other one.
Mhm.
So you're logged in and all that, but one's more functional, so
Makes sense.
That's
hopefully
happening.
see some improvement.
Yes, hopefully you won't have all the issues that you've had.
And then CME noncompliance and reinstatement. So we had 36 providers that remain non-compliant, 3 of them being ALS providers, 33 being BLS providers, and we really haven't heard anything back from the non-compliant BLS providers. Providers previously non-compliant that came back online was 17. Providers on medical or a leave of absence, 5 ALS, 5 BLS. Agencies are really hit or miss on if they are putting them in the system when they're out on medical leave. So when we pull it, we're still sending them that email of you aren't compliant. So if agencies need help remembering how to do that, it's really easy and we'll help you. And then providers removed from the region for lack of an agency, 64 providers total, 50 BLS providers and 14 ALS providers.
A good number of the BLS providers were from the college campuses in St. Lawrence County. I got the call to update their rosters and register their new providers, which was wild, so.
So we have launched the paramedic scholarship program. So if you have any members in your agencies that are currently enrolled in a paramedic program, or are enrolling in the next program and they already have their notification that they have been accepted, we strongly encourage them. This first rollout to spend the 2026 funds. The deadline is April 30th. We will then be following it up very quickly with the rollout for next year's, which will open early June. And the deadline for that will be mid-July.
Yeah, cause like the Mohawk, they haven't even done their interviews yet.
Right.
So,
So they'll be perfect for next year. But if you have any students that are currently enrolled in your paramedic program, tug, we strongly encourage that they apply for this so we can give them some money. And then the recruitment and retention initiatives. So that's another thing that was part of our new contract. So we are doing, as part of this, customized flyers that we will partner with agencies on to send out. So Carthage was one of the first ones to get their stuff to us, so that's why their flyer is there. So we will customize these to be co-branded between course sponsors and agencies. Obviously, we'll put your logo at the top of it, and then down at the bottom where it says this volunteer initiative, under that where Carthage Rescue's information is, we will put the individual agencies to make them as tailored as possible. So that way they are contacting your agency. Another initiative that we are working on is going to be a centralized application. So that way, if somebody is looking for an agency, because you wouldn't believe the number of phone calls we get here looking for people who want to volunteer. Where if we can put it on the website, we get that information, we can then send it out to the agency saying, hey, this person wants to be a volunteer, here's how you get in touch with them. And in that initiative, we will actually follow up with the individual every 3, 6, and then 1 year point, and then we're off.
so the EMS internship program, you're required to renew every year.
Yes.
So, I did get my letter saying that we then approve, so we gotta make sure that anybody submits it has that.
Well, and we're working on, and I don't have it to a point to share with the group too, a region-wide policy. So if there is an agency, because there are smaller agencies where the onus of putting together a policy like that may be something that they just don't have the time or energy to do. Where if we can, from the region, have something that says, here's a region-wide policy, you can either adopt this or you can do your own. I think we'll be able to get more agencies to do it. literally started it yesterday, so that's why you haven't seen it yet. And then, so upcoming trainings, Spring Fling is the 16th through the 18th. We have 118 registered, which blows last year out of the water. And then we were able to sell out the vendor room. We can accommodate 21 tables in the room. And we're at 23 or 24 now, so we're gonna shove ourselves out into the hallway.
There'll be 2 vendors in the hallway, Jefferson County EMS and FDRHPO.
And then we are working currently with Fort Drum to get Fort Drum EMS Day scheduled for probably sometime in June, before summer gets here and it's too crazy, but while it's still not nice enough that everybody's gonna be off vacationing and doing all sorts of stuff. Coming to the learning management system soon. Amanda, you can talk to that, so I can take the water.
So the Many Faces of Shock is a 4-part miniseries, covers each type of shock. Treating the Mind is a psychiatric lecture that I just presented at Lewis County's Education Day last weekend, and when the pump fails, will eventually go up when I figure out why it won't upload right.
So miscellaneous, so just our office participation, state EMS meetings we attended in December. The next meeting dates are actually in May. Those meeting dates were canceled because they got snow down south and apparently don't know how to handle it. So May 10th and 11th will be the next state EMS meetings. Other things that we're working with, this really hasn't changed. And if you have any paperwork, please send it to paperwork@fdrhpo.org. Oh yes, and Samaritan's Trauma Committee meetings, I need to add that in. Does anybody have any questions for the programming?
So REMAC, we met in February
Yes.
and there was no seconded motions that came out of that, so we're good there. Neil is on medical leave, so we have no update on safety or CISM. CMAC, SEMSCO, Mark, the meeting was canceled, so I guess we'll just wait and report out the June meeting, correct?
All right, yeah, the February meetings were canceled, so there's not a ton of excitement going on. Just a couple of things. Chris had mentioned earlier the county EMS plans. There's actually a bill that just came out in the last few days looking to keep the rural health task force as a permanent group, which will require counties to submit plans on an annual basis to the department and then be evaluated that way. Other than that, a lot of stuff kind of in limbo right now as it's going through the how to become a regulation process. Everything. Also, I should bring up the new 800 changes take effect this month. But there's a lot of 800 changes coming out eventually. The process, if we had a piece of paper with new regs on it that were 800 dot blah, 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 and it was approved today and we all agreed on it, it's still an 18 to 24 month process before those jotting on paper become regs. So there's a lot of stuff that's in hang up. Our dear friends at the Division of Legal Affairs are probably ready to kill SEMSCO because there's, for the first time in very many years, a lot of movement. There's something like 11 regulatory packages that are currently in the works statewide. So more to come. Nothing's finalized till it's finalized. And we meet again early next month, right? Yes.
May 10th and 11th.
In May, and at beginning in Putman or the Embassy Suites, depending on where you're staying. And we should have more information for the June meeting.
So Mark, do we know yet, is the North Star Health Alliance, is their appeal going to be at the May meeting?
EDCC was due on Friday and I do not have their appeal, so it did not get sent in with my package. So unless somebody pulls some strings and makes it appear out of nowhere, at this point, it's not on my agenda.
Just so everybody knows, I did follow up with their attorney and asked if it was still proceeding with everything going on, and I was told it was. So they were still proceeding with their appeal, so.
Yeah, so, Debbie, I would be really hard pressed to think that we're gonna see anything on that before the way the ALJ works. At best, the later part of the year, if not early next year, basically gets shoved on a desk and sits there for months, and then somebody takes a look at it quick, writes an opinion, and then it takes months more for that opinion to get published. So I have heard nothing as to whether or not that's moving anywhere,
Okay,
but it is definitely not on my agenda for the May meeting.
okay. Training and ed, Paul.
We have not had any meetings as of late.
Okay. Go right into your county report.
Well, in brief, since our last meeting, just a summary, I'm not gonna read them all. In the fall, we had total of 12 classes complete. Those including, are also including the BOCES programs that will be testing out in St. Lawrence and Lewis counties in early May. We've got 10 active courses going on right now around the region. So busy in that respect. Our collaborative community medicine paramedicine grant, the MIH from the Mother Cabrini Foundation. We continue to show really good statistics on the marked reduction in 911 calls as well as 911 transports. It's just really quite impressive, the reduction. So we've clearly demonstrated that this is a cost savings to the healthcare system. Also, it benefits the patients markedly. We're still utilizing the LMS. We had one new person join us here in the last 2 weeks or so from Tears. And right at this point, the Cabrini Foundation, the grant is going to expire on December 31st this year. The fundings were reduced to 145, I think it was 145,000 per site. So we're kind of brainstorming to see what we can do about finding some funds generation so we can maintain this program once the grant monies have ceased. So we've got a couple of thoughts brewing, but we are open for any suggestions, and please give us a call, share, because we really would like to see this go forward. One of our other thoughts is going to be approaching the Board of Legislators, but that's in the near future. Our advisory board meetings, last one was held January 7th. Our next one is actually Wednesday of this week. The rural EMS support grant was brought up to the county board of legislators, and they voted against accepting the award, so that has gone to the wayside. And now for upcoming events, we're working with Fort Drum for in the early planning stages for the full-scale exercise. In August, it's gonna be from the 17th to the 20th, with the MCI scheduled on Tuesday, August 18th. We'll be sending notices out to all the agencies, kind of save the date, reaching out also to the hospitals. At this point, we have one confirmed, but we're anticipating that 3 at least are gonna wanna do their surge testing at the same time. So we'll be reaching out and speaking with those folks. Mountain Fest is coming this summer. We're continuing doing training with Fort Drum. That took a kind of a little siesta during the prison guard shortage, because the lead was activated to the National Guard to work in the prison for about 6 months or so. So that's just getting back up and running. And of course, we have the county fair coming July and the concert park. So we're staying busy.
Rick, St. Lawrence County.
As mentioned, the BOCES class seems to be doing really well up there in Southwest Tech, with some pretty good interest there. And it looks like as far as next year for that enrollment, they're looking to have some fairly decent numbers from what I've been gathering there. So that was a good thing, and hopefully expanding into a couple of the other BOCES programs potentially in the future is the obvious hope and goal. There's been other classes ongoing throughout the county at Ogdensburg Rescue, Parishville Rescue, and then obviously what Doug has been doing with Clarkson. The program at the OFA school has been a struggle, according to Storm, just because of the short time that he has the students face to face.
Welcome to my world.
He's realized that that's kind of a struggle with that time. By the time they get in, get settled, it's time to go on to the next class, so.
Yep.
So he's admittedly had some struggles on that side. We have 3 or 4 DWI drills coming up with some of the local school districts. We have a drill coming up for Messina Airport, which will encompass first response as well as hazmat response as well, so. And there's gonna be some state CERT team involvement with the hazmat, as well as some Franklin County hazmat assets coming over to assist on that as also. We have finally got our deputy director position, which would then become the EMS coordinator position posted, so we should hopefully have that filled probably into June. Our current radio project is ever getting dragged on and slowly progressing forward. We do have a new tower completion in Potsdam at least. The EMS advisory board has worked on updating some with the mutual aid plan as well as the MCI plan. And then we did experience a little bit of the wall time at CPH a couple of weeks ago. There was some agencies, I believe it was Colton, had said that they had upwards of about 3 hours that they had waited, so. Yeah, so there was a couple other agencies that had some wait time, but that I think was the longest that I had heard, so. That unfortunately has hit us in the county. Some of that, I believe, comes back to the North Star Health Alliance and some of that diverting of patient care from there, whether it be agency discretion or patient's discretion, not going there and going to CPH. I think it's finally taken a little toll on CPH, so. But it looks as though a lot of the agency and a lot of the transfer coming in the river, I think, is probably seeing an uptick with that as well. I'm sure if you'd looked at numbers, so.
Doug, anything to add?
Yes, thank you. Our CME program at Clarkson is going successfully well, to the point where it's growing so much, we may have to reduce it next year. But our next free CME is on April 15th from 6:30 to 8:30. Tim Redding, who's a national presenter, will be going ahead and talking about half-baked burn injuries in the field. And then we have Ruben Farnsworth coming in to do a community paramedic program, what it's like in the West, in case anybody wants to go ahead and look at that more locally and educate our providers about community paramedicine. So he'll be doing that during EMS week, and then that should hold us off till the fall. We also have a summer EMT class going. It begins May 18th, ends on August 8th, and it's going to be Mondays and Thursdays from 9 to 3 p.m. at the Clarkson campus. All this information is on our website, but I can also forward it to your office so you can distribute to the rest of this committee. Our new 12-month paramedic program is going to be starting on August 24th. What's really exciting about this is not only enabling students to go ahead and work and learn at the same time, but we have managed to speak with so many different agencies that I really don't know how anybody has to pay for being a paramedic anymore. I have in my hand, including veterans, 8 different ways that somebody can go ahead and take this paramedic program. So money's not really an issue. If you can pass that around and let people know if they want to be a paramedic, we got a way for them to learn. Next open house for that is tomorrow night at 6:30, and we're going to continue our marketing campaign with more open houses, more communication work. We're also starting a virtual site visit. If somebody can't make it and they want something one-on-one, we'll be more than happy to. We have a wonderful video to illustrate what our facilities look like, and then we can go ahead and talk one-on-one about the day in the life of a paramedic student. They want to know what to expect over the next year. I think that is it. We're looking forward to Spring Fling. Clarkson's coming up, not only helping with presenting, but also vending and recruiting. So we're looking forward to it. That's it.
Chris from the state, you want to give a state update?
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Really, as far as the updates go, I'm in the education branch. So can everybody hear me okay in there?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm in education. I've been talking with Doug a little bit. So we are working on a bunch of different things in the education side. I do not have an answer for the county EMS plans. I did hear you guys talking about that. I was having some mic trouble. I could not answer. I did take a note, and I'll be happy to go back and see if I can get an answer. I know that we are actively working on that with a bunch of different avenues and things after the chapter amendment. I know we have some representatives coming up for Spring Fling, so they're excited for that. I will not be there. I will be sadly missing it. And on the education front, course sponsors that are due to be renewed, you should have gotten an email for your course sponsor renewal. So if you have a course sponsor and you are due in 2026, you did not get an email, please reach out because we would really like to get your paperwork to you so you can get that filled out. And we are actively looking at scheduling course sponsor audits and also audits for PSEs and different things like that. So just keep that in mind. We like to come out and say hi. Just because we're there, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We might just be there to see how things are going. And if you need anything, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you. And I skipped over Lewis County. So Bob, Lewis County.
That's okay. I get forgotten to vote off.
I know.
So, I've heard a couple of mentions about the BOCES and the EMT classes. So one of the things that I did for our BOCES EMT class, which I would recommend to both of you, would be, I did the terrorist indicators and suspicious activity reporting through the ILO program. And that was when they were doing the teacher in service for that day, so they needed an adjunct instructor. So I went up and talked for the morning and the afternoon classes. I also got the criminal justice class to come over. So that gave them some insights on what's going on worldwide. So just throw that out as an option for when they have an in-service day, just something to remember. CGR was our company that we contracted with to do our EMS study. It is complete at this point, and recommendations will be forthcoming. No, I will not discuss it because it has not been made public yet, so don't ask me. I've been getting that for the past 2 weeks. It is complete. One of the things that, one of the things throughout the study is they told us a bunch of stuff we already knew. So don't be surprised when they go to your agencies and it echoes the same responses over and over again. They're going to outline that in the study. And they did a very thorough job. Very impressed with the organization and how they did it. So, Lewis County did have their EMS training day, and that was on March 28th. Fondly disappointed is the only way I can put it. We went out and we got, three different agencies to, sponsor it for us. We got a considerable amount of money. We had it at a beautiful venue, in the village of Lyons Falls, newly completed Willows. Beautiful, beautiful venue. We had 30 signed up, 20 showed, 10 didn't even bother calling. I don't know what else to do. It was completely free. We even fed them. And it was a gourmet meal. It was some really good food. I don't know what to do. I'm at 6s and 7s trying to figure out what to do. We encouraged them to bring their ambulance if they were a volunteer agency. In case they got paged out, they could just leave. We made every accommodation humanly possible. I don't know what to do. I'm open for options. If somebody's got a silver bullet for this, please give me a call. One thing that happened between our last meeting and this meeting that is of note, and this isn't really pertinent to all areas, but we did have an MCI on February 20th. We had a 6-patient MCI on State Route 26, to where we utilized cars as well as most of the Lewis County agencies. And simultaneously, we had a second motor vehicle crash with 2 patients on 177. Now, if you do the math on that quick, that's 8 patients. We have 7 agencies in the county. We ended up, and at the time, we had 4 agencies that were marked out of service on our CAD because of staffing. We did a countywide all-call for all agencies, and lo and behold, we had 3 agencies that were marked out of service that suddenly staffed an ambulance because that sounds really cool. I want to go to that. So if you don't have a countywide all-call in your SOPs within dispatch, give me a call. I can give you some reasons to do that, or try to put that into place. And if not, or if you do have one currently, I would love to see it, because I'm definitely going to be in the process of rewriting one of those for my county. Fortunately, no patients perished in that. There were 2 criticals that ended up going to Lewis County General and getting transferred out almost immediately. There was no helicopters available that day because, of course, there was a flake of snow in the air, and that's actually what caused the accidents. It was actually more than a flake of snow. It was pretty substantial. Whiteout conditions during that. Fun fact, the Lowville Fire was having a funeral at the time, so every single Lowville fireman was in their Class A's walking around on State Route 26 in blinding snowstorms, including myself. It was a good outcome to a bad situation. Everybody survived. Last thing I will mention is, and this is not EMS related, but it is through the office. As everybody knows, I'm a tri-hatter. Our emergency management office was recently accredited by the Department of Homeland Security Emergency Services and New York State Emergency Managers Association. I did that simultaneously with the EMS study. I don't recommend doing that to anybody. Please don't do that. That borderline killed me. Very, very busy at the office, of the 2-person office, but somehow we pulled it off. So other than that, it's my understanding we've got a really good EMT program going at BOCES. We just had one finish up at Constableville. I believe there was 22 in that one, or was it 18 originals?
Yeah, 2 refreshers.
Yeah, 2 refreshers. One of the 2 of the 2 refreshers. One is my wife and one's my daughter, so I'm pretty damn proud of that. Got them back on board. Hopefully we'll get it back on the trucks. So other than that, that's it for Lewis County.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, we've already covered some of this. So we talked about the council contract, so hopefully that we'll see more funds coming in. Recruitment retention.
That's some of it, but there's a whole lot more that I will report on probably at the next meeting, because we'll have things laid out better.
Scholarship was in there. We brought, Jonathan talked about that. That's free money. Let's get our kids to sign up for that. So Spring Fling, this is the t-shirts for this year. So this is the front. And I forgot the gentleman's name that won the logo contest. Thank you for those that took the time to vote. And on the back, it says Spring Fling 26, 25 years strong. So those are for the people that registered early. We did order a few extras. So that'll be on a first come, first serve. Very, very happy with our numbers, where we're at for this year. That's wonderful news. Would like to, secure a date for next year. I've talked to Janine at Edgewood. So looking at the calendar and when break is and all that stuff, we're looking at April 22nd to the 24th for next year. So, she's available. It's not spring break, it's not Easter. So what we'd like to do is, secure that date and then be able to have save the date cards that we put in everybody's packets for spring fling. Anybody got any concerns with that? April 22nd to the 24th. Everybody good with that? Okay, that's where we're going then. So we are looking for volunteer workers. If you can help, Thursday night, Friday or Saturday, please get a hold of me. I have a list of what we need. We are gonna have registration, open that day where people can come. They'll be going into the office and we'll be completing them there, but we need to hand out the packets and all that stuff. We have to do all our scanning, for the registration and the pre-conference Thursday, registration Friday, our scans, our lunch scans, the awards dinner, somebody to collect tickets there, and that number is very large. We're at 80-ish for the banquet, so that's very, very encouraging. And then registration Saturday, the scans and the lunch scans. So if you can help out, please reach out to me so that we can get you on the list and make sure we got enough folks to try to make this go as smooth as possible. We already talked about the county EMS plans. Is there any other old business from the floor before we go to new business? Hearing none, I'd like to go to new business. So I would like to propose that we look at having a elected officials breakfast in each of the 3 counties and invite elected officials, invite the ambulance services from that county to come and do an EMS 101 and try to educate our elected officials on EMS, what we're struggling with, what we need help with, and giving them an opportunity to meet with folks and just get a general overview and try to do some education, because we're finding so many people just do not understand. And we use so many different acronyms that people are just, they're just out there. They don't know what a CON is. They don't understand any of that stuff. So put together a PowerPoint and we'll do that. Jonathan and I are willing to cook a breakfast. So we were thinking just a very, some French toast, some scrambled eggs, some pancakes type deal, and have a breakfast, have people have to RSVP. And then again, try to get ambulance services from each county there to, if nothing else, sit at the table with elected officials and just talk as we do the presentation and try to do some education. So I'd like some input from the council on that.
I would say be careful, because if you get too many elected officials, you start to have a quorum, which then you would get in the realm of having to post a public meeting. So if you get too many people from the same councils on it where they would have a quorum, you could start running into rules of having to post a public meeting.
Yeah, so you can't have more than 2. Well, depending on their board size, but generally it's if you have 2 people, you're safe.
So we would have to say, we'd have to say in the invite that to abide by regulations or whatever, that we can't accept more than 2. They could always go to one of the other 2 counties, I guess, and attend if
Right,
they.
and they know how many can be there, how many cannot.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they follow it, but
Right.
now.
I think each county should be done separately.
It is gonna be done separately,
Okay,
one in each county.
okay.
Yeah, one in each county.
I think it's a great idea. Even as I reinforced to Ryan Greenberg, EMS, we suck at marketing ourselves, so it's a great opportunity.
I think, you think one date is sufficient? If you might get a better response if you did like a two events, and then maybe you get double the legislators to come.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that because Ricks County, you know, it's as big as a state, so, you know.
One in the north, one in the south. Do the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of an idea.
I'm sure you know somebody at Star Lake that might be able to accommodate something. Just saying.
So do 2 for each county?
Yeah.
One in the north, one in the south. Other input, anything up there?
Gonna say no.
Other items?
Mark's giving a thumbs up, so I think they agree.
Do we want to put a dollar amount with this? I don't know, you know, we're gonna send out, do the mailing, get the food is gonna depend on the number of people at RSVP. Are we good with just leaving it to Jonathan and I to
Be responsible.
be responsible for the funding, for the food and all that stuff?
Mark shaking his head, yes.
I would agree.
We do a ham fest, we get $8 for breakfast. Don't
Huh?
admit, we do a ham fest in May, we get $8 for breakfast.
Yeah.
For all you can eat, so $8 to $10 would be,
Well, we weren't gonna charge for this. This was gonna be free.
probably.
We're gonna cover the costs to get the people to come to do the education.
Even with that, you know, figure $8 a person, you're probably in pretty good shape to figure out how many you're gonna get, how much you're gonna need.
Could I get somebody to put that in the form of a motion?
I'd move it forward as a motion to allow to sponsor 2 breakfasts in per county within the Tri-County region for the facilitation of discussion of EMS within the said county, leaving monetary discretion to Debbie and Jonathan. Come on, write it down.
I'm so glad this is recorded.
Somebody wants you to read it back right now.
Can we hit rewind?
Pull up the transcript.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a bunch of different seconds, so choose your poison. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Other new business from the floor.
I would like, it's not necessarily new business, but I'd like to bring something up that just recently happened. And that was the Mercy medical response surge exercise that the hospitals did. EMS was not involved. But I did hear one word that EMS is involved with or has been discussed, that was Pulsara. And they were discussing at the EOC at Samaritan, you know, what can we get out of that? And I know EMS, you know, is something we've talked about in the EMS world, so just something to think about. And I was there for amateur radio. We got the reports from 7 hospitals and reported them down to the central reporting point, which I think was in Cortland County.
Just for clarification, we were involved with that. Yeah.
So I was in the EOC at Samaritan and, so got involved with certain amount of that. After I put my report in, I left. We had to pass a keyword. So there's that.
Any other new business? Our next meeting is scheduled for June 1st.
I like motion to adjourn.
Bobby makes a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everybody.